tell your children your story, because when you don't tell your children your story, you make them liars. They get strange ideas about you. You know, sometimes children don't see us as humans. No, they see us as fully grown mortals who are here to torment their life. Yeah. But when we share our vulnerability stories, they get to see themselves. And one day, like I say, when they come looking for us, they must know our stories. You decide the kinds of stories you will tell and when. But for me and you, Madonna, this is the story. Hello and welcome. What the story say? If this is your first time here, you are so very welcome. Come in and sit down. I'm Dr. Pauline Baird, cultural bearer from the village of Buxton, Guyana, and I tell our stories, our whispered stories, our family histories, our long lost and sometimes forgotten traditions. And like we say in the village, what the story say? Come in, sit down, bring out your food and drink and think. We're finishing this series called Man in My Life. Now, if you haven't watched the previous two series, please go back and watch. One is called Man in My Life. One is called Nope, Not College Material. And today, I don't know what I'm calling this one. I don't know yet. But anyway, we're going to have fun telling the story. Now, why are we here? We're here because my niece, Madonna, asked me a while back. She said, Auntie, how did you become a teacher and an author? Yes, I'm an author. See these books here? I authored them. I used to dream of writing books like these. I had a vision of 12 books. You see the spines? That's how I saw it in my mind. And I'm going to have these, I'm going to author these 12 books. And I see the spine like that. And I had this dream when I was a little girl reading on the back step at our house at Brush Dam. Yeah. So these dreams began a long time ago. And if you follow the series, you know what Cousin Flassie said about what I will become and what I thought I'd be. All right. So what are we doing today? What are we wearing? I'm wearing a Japanese thingamajiggy. This is like a kind of jersey dress. It's like a t-shirt kind of thing, split down the front with a kind of a, I don't know, gauze-ish material in the middle like that. And you can, all kind of string. I don't know how to wear the people thing properly, but I got it a while back. Never felt like wearing it until today. All right, and then you could button up this part if you want to become like a school marm thing. But this is what we're working with today. The earrings, this is fancy designer stuff. I will not call the name because they're not paying me. But this is compliments of my sister Dara. She gave me this lovely gift. And this is from Egypt. My friend Nagwa gave me this. So I'm wearing a Nagwa and I'm wearing a Dara from the People Designer thing. And the hair is hairing. Yes. Anywho, so we are here. The last time we spoke, I was telling you about my entrance into the college, Cyril Potter College of Education, to become a licensed teacher. So I got there feeling like a total imposter, because I felt like I got into a place that I wasn't allowed, and for some reason, I did not think this man let me in. I just thought that some other means. Now that is really silly thinking, because if you have a board, a panel that's choosing people to go to college, they all must have agreed. But I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking I get in somehow. Anyhow, so I had doubts, but I had already completed Guyana School of Agriculture, which should have told me that that's nonsense, that I have the ability. Because at Guyana School of Agriculture, I learned to hone my skills. And I graduated from that place in good standing. And I also won the Animal Husbandry Award from Guyana School of Agriculture that year. So I had something to bolster my confidence. But I didn't have it because of what an adult said to me. So when I'm in this college, I made a lot of friends. My friends were Marva Caesar, Penelope Montfort, Tony Moore, Roxanne Court, Nell July, Olive McCurchin. Those, we were a crew. We would perform, when we performed in a play. Oh, we had the whole school laughing. So we would laugh at lunchtime. So we poor, so we even got food. But we would share and have a good time. Some of these girls were from the city and we were from the country. So when I got there, a woman was the principal of Sir Potter College of Education. But somewhere within the first or second semester of the first year, I think it's the first semester, the principal changed. And you would not believe it. Who became the principal? He who said, "Thou shalt not go to college because thou art not college material." That same man. He showed up as the new principal. Well, you know what is Pauline Bear doing? She dodging. I ain't telling my friends what went down, but I dodging this man. I don't want to be seen. I don't want him to see me. None of that. I didn't have reason to see him unless I ran into him somewhere on the campus. But, you know, every Paul got a Damascus road to meet, and I had to meet my Damascus road. So let me talk story. Madonna, your auntie had a moment. Now here is my thing. I am verbal linguistic. That's what my gift is. You know, some people are mathematical and different things. I'm verbal linguistic. But math is a thing I tolerate. I don't like math. I don't love math. I don't understand math. I don't have the kind of immediacy with math that I have with language and languages. So I struggled. Going to college was a plus for me because I felt like I would have had to do math methodologies. And once I'm doing methodologies, I would begin to learn the behind the scenes of math. That's how I reasoned it. So I will have a little bit more confidence in math because I feel like if I want to go forward into university, then I would probably need to have better command of mathematics. And so that was a plus for me because, like I said, some people feel leaving GSA and going to Sir Potter College of Education is a backward move. But my desire was to be a teacher. And if I'm going to be a teacher, I need to go to college, right? Yeah. My story always backward. My whole life doesn't go like many people. My path is very different and I embrace it all. So the math teacher, we had 3 math teachers, Sister Mary Peter Nye, we had Flavio Camacho, and we had Mr. Gulsaran. Gulsaran was my module teacher. They had a teacher who was in charge of a module. Module were groups of people that divided the cohort of teachers at the college. So I think I was in module C or D, I don't remember. You people remind me. So he was the head, and he called me one day. He said, "Pauline, come. You need to do a math demonstration lesson." I'm thinking, okay. Then he said, "But you got to do it in front of the whole complex." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "In front of Lillian Jora's teachers and Sir Potter teachers and all the professors here." I said, "What? Me? Mathematics? Mr. Gulsarana, me? Go ask Rohini. She good at math." He said, "No, it got to be you." I laugh. I said, "This man can't be serious." But the man was serious. And from what I understood, this is what I understand. Let's be clear. This is what I understand. I understand that when the new principal came, he challenged the teachers saying, he needs to see what kind of caliber teachers they're turning out, because he doesn't know the kind of teachers they're putting out into the Ministry of Education. He needed to see that. So they were asked to do this thing. So they had to pick their teachers to demonstrate to him that we are of some caliber. And he chose this thy servant. So I panicked. I ran to my friend Tony. I said, "Tony, you know, Mr. Gulsaran said I got to teach math to the whole complex." She said, "George, I got to teach science." I said, "What? Let me swap." Because, I mean, after GSA, I got the science part, you know. When Baba had her lecturing chemistry, I writing equations. She asked me one day, you write? I said, yeah. How much math, how much science you had? I said, GSA. She's like, that was how it was. They didn't have science for me. I did it all. So now this thing happened. So I said, Tony, let's swap. And we had this bright idea. We ran to our module people. I told Mr. Gulsran, listen, Tony going to do the math and I going to do the science. He said, nothing goes so. You doing the math. Oh, me mama. Thing about it is, I had the confidence to perform, but when I get confidence in the math. So we work out a lesson. They come for this teaching. The whole complex descended into this pavilion place we had. All of Lillian Jor, the secondary trainees, and all of Sir Potter, first and second years, and all the professors. I could see them lining the first row. Mrs. Austin is there, Mrs. Bernard is there, Mrs. Henry Ben is there, Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Uta, all of them. Many more are sitting there. And teacher after teacher came up in training and they demonstrated their lesson. Now it was time for me. I got up, I passed out my materials, and the principal is sitting there. He who say, I'm in a college material, sit down right there, watch me. And I began my lesson. I remember distinctly what I was teaching. I was teaching predicting number series using the diagonals of polygons. As the polygons change, the diagonals change, and you have to predict that. So I remember giving the instructions, and the teachers are drawing, and they're doing 5-sided figures and 6-sided figures and stuff, and they have to predict. And I remember this one teacher, I don't remember her name, but she was just looking at me puzzled, but she would follow. And then I saw something that every teacher lives for. Her face lit up, and she had the ha-ha moment. The light bulb came on, and I said, gotcha, because it had a bit of a mystery. It had a procedure that they could not predict. And I felt in my element. So I taught the lesson and it was done. And do you know what that man said when I was done? I think I was the last person or so. He said, I knew she could do it. I knew she could do it. I'm like, and I the same man who tell me I'm not go to college. Well, somebody in my Facebook said, maybe he meant that he saw more in me. Well, I don't think so. Because this man was saying I should go to the in-service where the big woman let us go. We can't go to the school with the young people. So to me, that's what I heard. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So anyway, time passed. I'm doing well in the college and I'm enjoying myself. And it was time for teaching practice. Madonna is still the same like before. I think they still do teaching practice. You have to go out to a school. And I got a school in BV. Now, I was trained for general primary, but when I got the school, there was no class for general primary. They had lower early childhood. So I think I had like a B section of prep B or standard 1, something like that, a lower level. But it wasn't the level I was being trained for. So, but I took it. And the teacher was Mary. I don't remember her last name. Oh my gosh. Sears? I want to think Sears. Mary Sears? Maybe. But anyway, she was from BV and she was a member of our church. So when I got there, she helped me set up, because sometimes teachers don't want trainees because if the trainees keep the students back. But she said, my class is bright and I'm going to set them up for you. So she gave me this class. I mean, wonder. These students were marvelous. And remember, I had the experience from Teacher Pansy and Mrs. Falanda and all these people that I had been a pupil teacher under. So I had a good command of the class. I understood the dynamics of the classroom. Classroom management wasn't an issue for me. So anyway, I had my class and I'm teaching. Teacher after teacher would come from Sir Potter, observe my lesson and go away. Even Mr. Anderson came. And I was thinking to myself, why is this man here? He's just my music teacher. Why is he here when I'm teaching math and English and so on? One day, my friend Tony called me. She said, Pauline, what are you doing at that school? Your name calling in this school all the time. Back at Sir Potter. I said, me ain't doing nothing. What am I doing? We doing something wrong? She said, I know what you're doing over there, but there's a buzz over here. Your name calling all over. Me, I know. I teach, me do. But there were lots of challenges at Sir Potter. That was a time when gas shortage was rife. You had to start walking until you reach a certain spot you can get transportation. Somebody can get a little drop, a little shower drop. You're lucky if you get any transportation, or you walk the whole thing. So we start walking until we get a ride. And then when you get a ride up to Turkine Head, you got to walk right in that mile or a mile and a half or whatever it is to get into the Sir Potter. Good. After school at Sir Potter, we used to have to get transportation on the road. There was a lady named Miss Richmond. She wasn't married, Miss Richmond from BV. She was a very prim and proper lady. When you see Miss Richmond put on her slippers and start to walk, you know it's time to go walking. So we would walk sometimes. Sometimes me, Penny, and Marva, who were the country girls, we would take the line top in Turkine and walk all the way past the Indian villages in the back. And we will end up at BV back. And then we would go to Marva's house and drink water, eat sugar cake or something, then pick up and go out of BV Road. And BV Road long, you know. We go out to Triumph, and then we try to get transportation. If my father passed, he pick up me and Penny or whoever. If somebody like that, you get a drop. Night all come in. You got to walk until you can go. Those are the circumstances we had to endure to become teachers, Madonna. So never think that your life is hard. We had it hard. But perseverance is what makes you or breaks you. If you don't have it, a lot of things are going to be out of your reach. So, I say all of this to give you a background to what it meant to become a teacher. It's not just the academics, but the social context of it all. And mind you, you got to go home and do your teaching, your materials and everything. When it was time for the teaching practice, my father used to have a truck come for him in the morning, sometimes 5:30 leaving. He said, if you want to come with me, you better come now. See me get a cup of tea in one hand, the bake in the other, the bag under my armpit, my shoes here in another bag, and run out to the truck with him. And then he would drop me at BV Head, something like 6 o'clock, or the 5:45 or something. He would drop me there, and I would wend my way into BV. When I get to that school, nobody in the school, a dog schoolyard. The cleaner, Mrs. Brown, used to come and meet me sit down at the school front, because the school door lock, you know. She meet me sit down there, and she sweeping the school. Then Mary family say, come to our house. When I go to them people family, they just wake up, they may even bathe yet. The mother go make breakfast, she make tea, she make bread, she make bake, she make aloo roti, me eat. And then we go to school with them. That is how it was. One day I was walking into the school early morning, before 7, and the principal was passing me. I just said a curt good morning, and he said good morning, and that was it. Yes, you know, those are the kinds of circumstances we endured. When it was exam time, after the teaching practice and so on, it was exam time. We can't take the chance to go home. The principal changed again. By this time came Mr. Taylor. We call him one hand Taylor, he had one hand. Mr. Taylor came to be at the school, and Mr. Taylor was the foster father of Nell, one of my classmates who were a good friend, laughing and stuff. He had a principal's house, and he never lived there. He lived in Andy Park. So he gave us the key to the house. So during exam, we lived there. We lived on campus in his house, preparing for exams. My father used to come with truck and drop off fish, and so on. Yeah. So your grandfather used to do that. Man in my life, because as much as he say most school you want, he was proud. So that was how I did that. I was successful, finished my teaching practice, and I graduated. Day for graduation, girl, your grandfather left early morning to go and get his hair cut at Clevie. As he going up crying to the people, he telling the people, hey, Mr. Bird, where you go? I'm going to Clevie cut my hair. A gal I graduate. So you just refer to me, a gal. A gal I graduate. A proud. But I think somebody did pinchy. and give him a little more information that I had, because he was not surprised with what happened next. On graduation day, when they announced the Best Teacher Award, the Ministry of Education Best Teacher Award, this Pauline Felicia Beard was walking up to get my award. Yes, I got that award that year. I think it was $150 I got. Yes. So, your gifts will make room for you. And if you are diligent in little things, big things will come your way. And the whole sum of it is that I've taught in 6 countries, 3 continents, at every level. Elementary school, community high school, college, university. I taught in Palau, and all the things that I learned had come to fruition. At the school I was teaching at, they had a farm, a crop farm and an animal farm. They had chickens, and they had workmen who would do the chickens. They can make rings around other people, but not this girl. Because me and my cousin Joelle, for our special project at Guyana School of Agriculture, we raised chickens from day old to marketing. We injected them, we raised them, we take care of them, we culled them, we harvested them, we plucked them and things, and you sold them. We had to do the whole thing. So that didn't faze me. Then when I came to Japan, my boss was teaching a course in science and technology in English to Japanese students. And I asked him one day, how come that's not in the lineup? I want to teach that. And he said, well, I don't know. You have to know science. I'm like, I know science. He's like, but you don't have a background. I said, have you seen my CV? I'd forgotten that I'd left this GSA thing off of it. So I had to show him that I had that background. And then he invited me to teach with him. I want to say this to you, Madonna. I had every reason to fail. Every reason to fail. Life didn't start off so good. It started well, and then it just got crazy. At 10, lost my mother, lost our home, lost the last 2 siblings in a fire. Your uncles, we 5, your uncles and your aunts, we watched our mother pass away before our very eyes. I was 10. Okay? Then life went on. And then you have obstacles. But you only fail if you cease to get up. It's a mind thing. It's a mind thing. If you determine that you're a failure, you'll be a failure. But when people say no, you got to answer yes. Yes. Because you can always find a way. And there are people in your path that can help you to go there. So, yes, Mr. Principal that said no to me, I'm grateful. I have a gratitude for the experience because it's made me a better person. I was able to persevere, and I say to adults, I dare you. I dare you tell a young person that they can't. Watch. They'll show you. They will show you. Because you see, you have your gray matter here, and determination, and opportunity. Opportunities are everywhere. Life is hard. I wouldn't say it is easy. I must say opportunities presented themselves to me, and I walked into them. I walked into them. And much of my schooling, I didn't pay for. Back in the day at Sir Potter College of Education, you got a stipend, $150 a month. Yeah, we made it work, you know. I went to university. It was free at the time. It was $2 for bus, $1 to go, $1 to come. That was my time. Then I went abroad for school. I went abroad for school. My sister gave me my first semester school fee and my last semester school fee. I worked in between. I couldn't tell you how much that school cost because I worked for credits. Not a dime was put in my hand. And I got my bachelor's degree. For my master's degree, I paid the first semester, and then I got scholarships. For my PhD, I got funded. I got the free ride. They give you a stipend to live on. I lived on $21,000 a year for 3 years. So I did that PhD in 3 years and change, yeah. And I don't have debt, not one debt. I ain't owe a soul. So people will tell you, oh, if you go do these degrees, you get into debt. That's some people. But this girl from the village didn't have it. But those grades, those grades, those grades will open doors for you. So that's how I became a teacher. Some other things fell into my lap because I was a church girl. There were people like Brother Lawrence who worked at the University of Guyana, and they had this continuing education program. I think he was in charge of that. And he would advertise in the churches and so on. And we young people will always get education because there is a kind of a teaching that says you must be the head and not the tail. And we literally believe that. We young people, we must be the head and not the tail. So we would grab on to educational pursuits. And so when they had guidance and counseling training, I would go and do it as a young girl, 15, 16 years old. I would go train with that and come full circle where I've worked and taught. Those skills were needed. I was able to handle myself. I was able to handle students with all the training I had as a pupil teacher. I'm not afraid of students. I understand the classroom. I've been in it my whole life, either in the bench or in the chair or in front of the chair. I know this like the back of my hand. And life has rewarded me, Just the other day, at the beginning of this school year, I stood in a room with over 40 professors. I'm the only black woman among all these males and about 5 other women professors. And I'm in the second row, right there, taking up my position that was offered me. And for the first time, I wished my father could see me. I wish my mother could see me. And I asked God, what did I do to deserve this? I'm here rubbing shoulders with these professors, men of caliber, and so many men. I work in a male-dominated space, But I can always say, when crunch time comes, how do you challenge me? Can't challenge me because I have the diplomas to show my journey in education, So that's my journey for you, and I would want to say, don't let life tell you no. Or life can tell you no, but it's your answer to that no. It's not a direct path. Sometimes it meanders, but with awareness, mindset, an attitude of gratitude, and a couple of principles, you can succeed. And the age-old principle that I have to give you is this, that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation in our culture, is one doti bildam. Listen, I live by that mantra. One doti bildam. And let no one stand in your way. And like I said, look for what life gives you, what the teaching is for you. What is your calling? And with that calling will come its own mantra or saying that will drive you. For me, very early in my life, it was a biblical verse. I don't know what it is for other people, but it says, "Behold, I set before you an open door, no man can shut." So that's my teaching story for now. One day I will tell you how I became an author. Yeah, you live your dream. Your help is at the end of your hand and with a higher power and the people around you. So I am happy for the men in my life because I'm on this journey, and it's what a ride. I say, what a ride. So people, if this gives you anything for your life, please take it and run with it. This is my story. What's your story? That's why we call it What Is Story Say. I'm not supposed to tell you everything. I'm supposed to talk your own thing too. Even if you don't want to write your story on here, you might want to make notes to write your story. And if you want that story published, check me out. I'll help you. And tell your children your story. Because when you don't tell your children your story, you make them liars. They get strange ideas about you. Sometimes children don't see us as humans. No. They see us as fully grown mortals who are here to torment their life. Yeah. But when we share our vulnerability stories, they get to see themselves. And one day, like I say, when they come looking for us, they must know our stories. You decide the kinds of stories you will tell and when.